Welcome back to Guitarnivore. I am Scott, and today we're going to be talking about noise suppressors, noise reducers, and noise gates. What are they? What do they do? And how do you use them? Most referred to as the noise gate, these pedals are used to, you ready for it? Reduce noise. So they're used to reduce noise from like 60 cycle hum, noisy pickups, and noisy effects pedals. Depending on the noise you're trying to eliminate, they can be very effective or they can be kind of mediocre. Also, there's always seems to be a bit of confusion of exactly where to place them in your signal chain. So today, I'm going to go through a few different scenarios and tell you, in my opinion, the best way I have learned to do it. I'm going to be saying, in my opinion, quite a lot here because I'm not going to tell you that I think these are the only and definitive ways to do things, so I apologize in advance if it gets annoying. Now, there are a couple different types of noise gates out there. Ones that have a send and return feature that can route things through your effects loop and use as an input-output of your signal, like this Boss NS2. And there are ones that simply have an input and output in them, like this little Kugo noise gate. Both can be very well, that's kind of loud, isn't it? I didn't realize I was getting that much microphone noise. Goodness, that just rattles right through it. Anyway, getting back to what was I saying? All right, so both can be very effective depending on how you use them. So let's look at a few different scenarios. First, for an amp that doesn't have an effects loop, where should we put the noise gate? Well, when I was much younger and much more naive, I would put it at the very end to try to cut that signal off from a noisy pedal. And I later learned that it really doesn't work out all that great. And then you think something's wrong with your noise suppressor. So I watched some videos and I tried to learn from my mistakes. And I saw people putting it at the very beginning of your effects chain, and it made perfect sense. Eliminate or gate the sound from your guitar before it even hits the rest of your pedals, especially if you're using a high gain pedal that has a tendency of causing feedback. But let's face it now, some gain pedals are just noisy, no matter what. Even if you put it at the beginning of your effects chain, there is the fact that a high gain dirt pedal is going to send noise through your amp anyway. So you're effectively using a noise reducer or noise suppressor to suppress or reduce that noise. So even if you put it after that pedal, that same dirt pedal is going to be noisy enough to trigger the gate unless you have the threshold set so high that can sometimes diminish any tone or sustain you might be trying to preserve. In the scenario where you don't have an effects loop in your amp, it's best, in my opinion, to put it at the beginning of your effects chain. Let's take a look at this in real time. In this case, we're using the Kugo, the cheaper one, on the very end. I've got my guitar running straight into here, and it's coming out of this Flamma overdrive down here and going straight into the front of the amp. So basically what it's doing, it's cutting off the signal of the guitar when it's turned on. See how it's super quiet? I don't know if you can hear it. Let me turn it off. You still get a little pickup noise. In fact, that's a little higher than I like to put it. So I'll tell you what, if I could get a guitar to stay in tune today, it would be a good day. So let's turn on one of these noisy pedals here, like this Holy War. It's a high gain pedal. It makes all sorts of noise. You hear that? Now let's gauge the noise gate. Quiets it right down. Now let's switch it up. Let's put this in front of these on the other end and see how that works out. Alright, now as you can see, I switched them up to put the noise gate on that end. Now without any noise, quiets it right down. But let's engage the noisy again. Still noisy. Because if you got a noisy pedal, all the noise coming from this pedal is going to trigger the gate to open. So no matter if you got it on or off, you're still hearing it. So back the other way, this at the beginning to cut the signal chain of your guitar is your best bet. Now the next method, and in my opinion, the best way to do it, is the effects loop or 4-cable method. Yes, I said 4 cables, 2 for your effects loop, 1 for your guitar, and 1 for your gain pedals into the front of the amp. Let's look at it, this groovy little diagram I made. So in this diagram, your guitar plugs into the input of your noise gate, right here, and then the output goes up to the return of your effects loop. Then from the send goes over into the return of your noise gate, and then from your noise gate you can send it to your dirt pedals, and lastly up into the front of the amp. Now right here is where you can put your time and mod pedals like chorus, delays, tremolo, so on and so forth. Now in this particular scenario, the gain pedal, such as an MT2, it's a noisy pedal, so you're still going to have some kind of noise coming out of the amp. The noise gate is never going to make things completely silent with the high gain pedals. What it does do, though, is reduce that noise to a very manageable level, and you're not getting all that feedback or buzz you normally would. Now let's take a look at this scenario in real time with my pedal board. So right now I have the noise suppressor in reduction mode. Reduction mode is not engaged. Have any other pedals engaged right now either, so it's not really noisy. Let's engage the distortion. You know, I already hear that buzz, right? Now let's engage the noise suppressor. See how it reduces it? Now when I play, reduces it some. If you got noisy pedals, you're not going to totally get rid of the noise. Let's go to an even noisier one down here. That is the middle zone. That one's noisier. Turn the noise suppressor. It eliminates a lot of that noise. Let's switch it over to mute mode. Now mute mode, when it's engaged, it mutes the guitar. But if you have a noisy pedal, you can still hear it. Now let's just disengage it. And this particular one automatically goes into reduction mode, and it reduces the noise. That's the mode I like best, because I don't have to do anything. I just turn my pedal board on, and it's all ready to go. And then if I want to switch up guitars, I can just hit mute. I can unplug it without making too much noise or blowing my amp. But like I said, sometimes you're just not going to get rid of all the noise if you got noisy pedals. Now that you're seeing both pedals in action, let's talk a little bit more about these two different pedals. This Kuga noise gate costs about $30 on Amazon. You can find different brands of it. I believe this was the cheapest one at the time, but they're all pretty much the same. If they look just like this one, they might be painted different, might have different brands. They're all the same. But even if I take this simple, cheap pedal and I run it through the effects loop of my amp, it works perfectly well. It does its job. It's much more affordable than the NS2. Will it last as long? I doubt it. But it's a good option. Still making all sorts of damn noise. Here's the NS2, 2004, 17 years old, and I guarantee it works just as well as the day it rolled off the assembly line. This NS2 costs about $105 new and can be found for about half that in the used market. What I really like about it is the send and return features and the mute and reduction features. So in the reduction mode, you can engage and disengage the noise gate, but I find this mode, when engaged, it sucks your tone a little bit. But in the mute mode, the reduction is already engaged, but the pedal's not engaged. So it's already acting as a noise gate without even being touched and without sucking your tone. When you engage the pedal, it mutes the signal from the guitar. But if you're still running a high gain pedal, you can still hear it in the background. It's kind of weird. Now, there is a cheaper version of this. It's a Behringer. I think it's called the NR700 or something like that. Costs about $25 with free shipping from Sweetwater. It's made of plastic. It may not be quite as durable, but if you're looking for a good affordable pedal, give that one a shot. If the NS2 isn't in your budget or other ones aren't in your budget. In conclusion, give the different scenarios a try with your noise gate. Depending on your amp setup, see what works best for you. I have a feeling if you have an FX loop and the extra cables, you prefer a 4-cable method for reducing noise in your signal chain. So I hope this video was helpful in educating you in the wonderful world of noise gates. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe, and as they say in the South, mash that like button. And until next time, I will see you on the flip side.